thumbnail that I chose to use for my magazine cover. I chose this thumbnail. Let me show you what everything means. Where it says make fade, that means I'm going to make this image fade into the background, and my background is going to be a watercolor background, specifically orange watercolor background, because it represents bully prevention. And it's going to have October is bully prevention month. It's also going to say stop the violence. That I kind of messed up on the, but I know what I'm talking about. And be the solution, page 10, and it's going to have a fake barcode. Now we're going to swap these two, the positions of these two, because usually the barcode is not right here, it's over here. So I wanted to swap that, and I already had everything drawn, so I don't have to just like redraw the whole thing just because I want to swap that. I can just make a side note, and I show that this is going to be a barcode. All right, so now I don't have to have Illustrator or any Adobe program to make this happen. I can just use Canva. Now, am I against Adobe? Not at all, because that is my go-to program. But I just want to show you that the process works. The process of design works. Now, when I was originally working on this image, I found the image that I wanted to use first. So I know what image this is going to be. It's going to be a kid with a black eye. And I even chose to fade him out for specific reasons. Let me show you. Let me see if I can find the picture. Type in black eye or black eye kid. Please excuse this internet. All right, this is not the one. I think I'm just going to put in black eye. There we go. That's the one. Now, I'm going to fade. Well, first, I'm going to export this, and I'm going to take it into Pixlr so that I can do a really cool fade. So let's export this or download this. Let me see if I can make. All right, that'll work. And I'll just download this. I'll make sure it's a PNG. I could make it a JPEG, and I'm going to make the size as big as possible. Alright, so now as this is working, I'm going to go ahead and open up Pixlr. And this is going to ask me where I'm going to save it in a second. But I like to kill two birds with one stone, or just not waste time. Alright, so instead of creating new, I'm going to open the file that I'm about to save. So let me go back. Alright, so it downloaded straight to my downloads. It didn't even give me an option to name it. I think you guys can see that, but it's down here. It's downloading to my computer right now. But I think what I'm going to do, instead of creating the file and then putting that image in there, which I think you can do. Let me see. I'm going to test that out. This is just extra right here. I'm just going to double check and see if I can add an image from here. I know I can drag one in there, but is there a file place or open the image? No, that's not a file that I can use. All right. Yeah, see what that does? it creates a whole new file. I can tell because if I click on this, this is the file that I've created. This is the file that I just opened. I don't think at this point they have a file place, which will allow me to place the image in here unless I just drag it in. And I can add to current. And that's what I just did. I drug it from here. Oops. Alright, so this file, let's not do that. Let's start from the beginning. Alright, so I have my image uploaded and ready to go. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to go to open, and I'm going to go to my downloads. And because my file in Canva wasn't named and it was just named Untitled Document Design, that's what the name of this is going to be. So I'm just going to open that, and I'm just going to use web. No, I'm going to use full HD. And then now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of the background, and I'm going to fade the child a little bit. So how we're going to do that, I'm going to get the scissor tool or the cutout mask tool, make sure I have my draw mask selected, and I'm going to remove from mask, and I'm going to start off with a big brush. I'm just going to click here, make the size of my brush big, and I'm going to keep the softness. Matter of fact, right now I'm going to bring the softness down at first. And that brush is a little bit too big. Alright, so I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to kind of crop this out just a little bit. Alright, so from here on out, I'm going to make the brush very soft. And even if I have background right here, it's okay. I don't mind that. That is part of the plan. So, and I'm going to also fade out the top of the head some too. Hold on, it's a little bit too much. All I did to undo that was press Control Z or Command Z on my keyboard. Command Z. I can play around with that a little bit, how I want the top of the head to fade. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so now I'm going to fade it. I'm not going to fade it all the way down at the bottom. And then on top of that, to add some more in certain areas, I'm just going to click the change the mode to add mask, and I'm going to add some more right here. I'm going to add some more right here, and I'm going to take away some again. Alright, and I'm going to take away a little bit more over here and a little bit more right there, and that's what I'm looking for right here. Alright, now I'm going to save this by going to File, Save, and I'm going to change the name to Black Eye Kid, and I'll make sure it's a PNG. I'm going to download it, and it downloads immediately to my downloads. So I'm just going to close this out and go back to Canva, delete this, and now I'm going to look back at my not this, but my sketch. Where's my sketch, you guys? think I accidentally, there it is. All right, so now I'm just gonna look at this and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. But the first thing I'm gonna get started with is the background. And that background image is gonna be orange watercolor. 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 So let's type in, and as you can see, I already looked up orange watercolor to make sure that I have it. All this was prep work. So I kind of imagined what I wanted in my head and went for it. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to rotate this so it can be the same orientation as my artboard. And I'm just going to drag this, and there we go. Now at this point, I think I want to go ahead and add the guy, the kid. So let's go ahead and go to upload. And I'm going to file, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to find my file by clicking on device and black eye kid and add him in here, which is probably still uploading as we speak. I think I don't see anything loaded. Okay, another way I could do it is just drag it from here. That should work. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna bring him all the way down to the bottom. Let me look at my sketch again. And I'm using my thumbnail as a reference to how I want this to be. So let me center this a little. Let me grab this. I'm going to bring this up some. And when I said I'm going to have them fade, how I'm have them faded now is good, but I want to fade them some more. How can I do that? I'm going to change the transparency just a little bit so that some of that orange can, oh, might have been too much. Let's go to 75. All right, there we go. And I might want to go back and change that, or because this little line right here, I don't like that line, but I can fix that. I know a way to fix that because part of my title can go there and it can make that less noticeable. But I can still always go back into Pixlr and fix it. But I'm going to go ahead and create my title. Trying to get those arrows. There we go. The arrows that will allow you to move it. Come on, let me move it. There we go. Now, this font is not like the font idea that I had before. I had something big and bold, so I'm going to find something big and bold. Now, I could have the font that I select and just bold it, see how that looks, but that's not looking good enough. I want it bigger and bolder. So let's find something. Now, ideally, I could have thought about the font within the earlier process. And I could have thought about what font I wanted to use ahead of time and everything. But sometimes it doesn't work like that, and that's fine. It's just make sure you get the really important things first, like the background and all that type of stuff, and the layout. Now, that font is okay, but I'm not convinced. I don't like it. That's close. I would like it to be thicker. Let's see if I can find something close to what I had. I'm gonna try this one, even though this one is a serif font, but I like it. I kind of like that. All right, so I'm gonna go with this one for now. And I'm gonna be adding more text, icon, magazine, or let's look at the sketch. In the sketch, the magazine came all the way over from the O to the N. So I'm going to follow that. Let's look at it again. Yeah, from the middle of the O to the N. And I'm going to try to keep it as close as possible to what I had in the original design. And sometimes you might find that certain things look better another way, which is fine. But if you can try to stick close to the design, then you'll get better results. If the design was good in the first place. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add some of the other text that I had in mind. And I'm just going to do that by just grabbing just the heading text. So that first headline that I wanted to put in here is October is Bully Prevention Month. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing that in. All right, so what I don't want to do is just leave it like that. That is bland, boring, and it has not been designed. So let's go to my spacing. Let's bring that in. Let's make October bigger. Oops, not smaller. Not that much bigger. Let's see. Let's bring that down to about 42. And let's bring this up about 36. No, let's do 42 with that one too. And then let's make this one bold. And then let's make that bold as well. And let's make this one 56. And make it bold. And then now we're going to align it all to the left. Now in the original, it's kind of centered. But seeing it here now, I think I want to align it to the left. So, and what I mean by the original, I mean by this. Now, if I was in Illustrator, I can do a whole lot more with this text. And I probably could do it here too, but it'll be besides the point. So now I'm going to adjust that the way I want it to. I'm going to add the other headlines in there. And remember, I'm going to have to switch these two, be the solution and the barcode. And I didn't even get my barcode yet. Be the solution. And I'm going to have to align this one to the right. There we go. And let's make solution all caps. I'm just going to do that and make it bold. And I just got a really cool idea. I'm going to add some more text here, because what I had before, if you notice, it says just page 10. But now I'm going to say find out how on page 10. And notice what I did with the fonts right here. Bold font, not as bold font, and then small font. Now what this is doing is reading solution, be the solution. So that's how your eyes read a solution. What about a solution? Be the solution. Okay, now if I'm still interested, then I'll go to find out how on page 10. So that's all about hierarchy. If you've forgotten what hierarchy is, go back to the module and read about it. All right, so now let's go to the last one of our headlines, and I'm going to make this one a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more unique compared to the other two. And I'm just going to add that. There we go. So I'm going to add that, and it's going to say stop the violence. And I think I'm going to keep from the Fitzgeralds, because that's kind of like a way of putting a quote in there, because or I can say from the Mayshacks. And I'm going to change the orientation on that as well, make it align to the right. Now make it much smaller. You know what? I'm going to change that to stop the hate. Why? One, I can make it larger that way without it hitting this child's face. And two, you know, there's no rule against that. You know, if you change your mind about what a headline is during this stage, it's not a big deal. All right, so now the main thing that I'm missing is the barcode. The barcode, and I could mess around with this a little bit more, or play around with the colors and all that, because I could make it white. Let's see how that looks. I could give it a shadow, not that shadow, but anyway, let's undo those two things. But I can do a lot still. Now let's go in. I'm gonna fix this though. Before I would turn this in, I will fix that, and I'll show you how. And what I'm talking about that is, oh, I already fixed it. Never mind, there's no need to fix it. I just fixed it. So the reason this line was right here was because I did that accidentally. So if I just pull this all the way up, then that fixes that line that was showing up. Okay, there we go. I don't have to go back in and fix it. All right, so now I'm just going to find me a barcode. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'm typing in barcode. And images. And I want one that kind of looks like this. Now I'm going to try something. It should work, but it may not. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to see if it pastes into Canva. I just pressed yep, and it did it. Good job. All right, so now I can just shrink that down, and voila. So now we have a full out magazine cover created in Canva, and this is your project. All right, so make sure you like and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that, but this is a awesome project. I want you guys to take advantage of it. Um, and once you get to this point, you can still move stuff around. You can add stuff. You can change your mind about things. But the main point of this video, I want you to see how doing these sketches, see how doing these sketches make a big difference. Okay, they really do. So make sure you do your sketches and or your thumbnails. And that's it.